Hello and welcome to a flow yoga class. Today is the first day of spring, so it feels really appropriate to be teaching this. We're going to be working with a lot more movement, a bit of vinyasa. If you've ever heard that term, it means moving consciously the breath and the body so that there's a sense of linking and a sense of almost losing yourself in that movement because it's so, I want to say conjoined almost. So that's kind of where the energy is going today, a lot of movement, but we'll also pause at the beginning and pause at the end to really bring it all back down together and integrate whatever it is we've learned. And I'll also offer a little bit of anatomy in the midst of it. And as always, I like to offer as many options as possible so that these classes are as accessible as possible. So I'll give as many options as I can think of in the moment, and know that you can always modify your practice. You can always pause when you need or take more movement when you need and just veer off from whatever I'm offering, because at the end of the day, this practice is for you to cultivate more of your own practice. So I'll leave it at that and we'll get started. Come onto your mat, and if you have any props, so I'm working with blocks and a blanket today. You could work with the same thing or nothing. It's just your preference. If you have any sort of prop that's on the softer side, you might put it underneath your head for a little bit of support, like a pillow. You could use blocks or any other kind of prop to support under your knees, or to come into Supta Baddha Konasana with your feet together and your knees wide like a butterfly. So coming onto your back and noticing if your back doesn't feel like the right place to be, you might come to lie on your side or even on your belly. So just allowing yourself to fall down, allowing gravity to take over, noticing where your limbs land in this shape. Noticing naturally where you're called to settle. And then gently allow your eyes to close. Allow your eyeballs to soften into the backs of your eye sockets. And just take these first few moments in stillness and silence to just ground, to start to notice any budding thoughts or feelings or perhaps physical sensations. And just to take a scan, to take stock of your entire being in this moment in time. And then notice specifically how your breath feels. So what kind of texture and rhythm it's moving at right now. Sometimes that can be a really strong indicator for what's going on underneath the surface. So taking a deeper, fuller inhale, filling up your belly, your chest, expanding your rib cage. Pause at the very top. And then as you exhale, you can sigh out your mouth, just release. And do that again. Fill up, expand, get really, really full. Pause. And exhale. And do that one more time. Inhale, fill up. Pause. And exhale. And then seal your lips and inhale slowly for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale deeply and exhale smoothly. And then continue that extension, that lengthening of your inhale and your exhale through your nose if possible. And start to build on that inhale and exhale by adding some physical movement and noticing intuitively how you're called to move. So just moving in whatever way feels natural in this moment. Potentially remaining on your back. If you're on your back, you might turn your knees from side to side, twisting, or reach your legs up into the air. Just continue to breathe deeply. And then bring your attention back to whatever it was a moment ago when we were still that might have drawn your attention, that might still be drawing your attention. And allow whatever that idea or feeling is, allow it to enter your practice instead of feeling like the work is to move past it by shutting it out. Instead, can you open up space and give yourself room to work with it? And maybe working with it will allow you to work through it. So letting go of any sort of goal and instead creating just an intention so that it's brought into present form as opposed to looking toward the future, thinking about the past. So again, continuing to move. Maybe you're picking up the movement a little bit more, maybe rolling on your back, maybe you find yourself on your side and just taking another couple breaths, say 3 to 5 breaths, to move as you are and to find your way into a tabletop position. And if you wanted to play music, this would be a good time to press play and then making your way to a tabletop position. And then as you get there, really root down through your palms, stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders, and then root down through your knees and your shins, stacking your hips over your knees. And then bring your gaze down and a little forward of your hands so that your neck is long and you feel the alignment of your spine. And then the next time you inhale, drop your belly to initiate a cow pose, arch your spine, lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, like you could press the floor away, round your spine, curl inward, cat pose. Inhale, open up your chest, cow. Exhale, open up your back, cat. A few more times. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, really undulating through your spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And Exhale, cat. And then close your eyes and continue to move on your own. So you might stick with the same shape, or maybe you do something completely different, moving in circular motions, or turning your wrists a different direction, or something entirely different, downward dog or child's pose. So really seeing if closing your eyes allows you space to just feel into that, space to just find a sense of connection to your body and your breath, and a freedom to move in the way that simply feels correct. And it's not because anyone told you so. It's not because it looks correct. It's simply a sense of deeper knowing, deeper connection to who and what you are at this moment in time. Wherever you are, continuing to take deep, full inhales and deep, full exhales. Noticing any pockets of tension in your body and your being. Again, noticing if that thing that was catching your attention to begin with, noticing how it is entering and affecting your practice, allowing it in, allowing yourself to consider the whole of who you are today and what you're working through. Whenever we try to compartmentalize our lives, ourselves, our bodies, it never seems to work one way or another. Whatever message we need to hear is going to find its way in. So I feel strongly that if we do not compartmentalize, if we instead look at ourselves as a whole, if we allow, say, a problem, a perceived problem, to actually just be there with us, then we can clear it sometimes with less tension, and it won't take as long as if we tried to press it away and ignore it. And this is a really good day, a really good time for clearing and moving obstacles, because it is the start of spring, the start of new growth. Okay, one more inhale wherever you're working. And as you exhale, make your way back to tabletop. And then inhale, come back into a cow pose, arch your spine, lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, go to child's pose, but tent your fingers up and lift your palms. And then flatten your palms. As you inhale, drag your chest forward back to tabletop and tuck your toes, slide them under. And then exhale, go to downward dog. Lift your hips as you drop your head. Inhale, stay there. Simply lift your heels up as high as you can. And take your exhale to slowly tap your knees back down, returning to tabletop. Point your toes at the bottom of the exhale, and then inhale back into cow pose. We'll do that sequence a few times. Exhale, child's pose. Tent your fingers, lift your palms up, elevate your arms. Keep your arms elevated as you flatten your palms. Inhale, come back to tabletop. So there's really engagement through the arms. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward dog. Lift your hips, drop your head. Inhale, raise your heels. Exhale, slowly tap your knees down. Inhale, cow pose, point your toes. Exhale, child's pose, tent your fingers. Inhale, tabletop, flatten your palms, tuck your toes. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your heels. Exhale, tap your knees down. Once more, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. And then pause there. And then make a choice with your feet and your knees. So notice how wide or narrow your feet are. And simply choose. There's no right or wrong way to make any sort of shape. What's right or wrong is simply preference and simply whatever shape your body is and what feels most aligned. So if you have wider hips, it might feel more stabilizing to take a wider stance in your feet. It might also feel more stabilizing, perhaps, to take your feet together. For me, it just depends on the day. So noticing the width of your feet. And then with the arms, I find it a little bit more, I find it to be a little bit more, I suppose neutral is the word. The alignment of the arms being the same width as the shoulders is really, really supportive and safe. And the shoulders are a lot more complex, I feel, than the lower body. So I recommend taking your arms in an alignment that's as wide as your shoulders. And then your knees, bending them or straightening them or whatever is possible, right? So same idea. You don't want to overstretch your hamstrings, but you also want to engage them enough that they are getting some elasticity. So whatever it is your heels and your knees are doing, whether your heels are lifted, your knees are bent, or your heels are down and your knees are straight, either way, can you find an energetic connection between your heels and the ground? So even if there's no physical connection, can you feel a sense of reaching toward the ground? Okay, and then with all of that in mind, I know it's a lot. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just one more inhale. And exhale. Start to walk your feet forward to your hands. And if you happen to have blocks, you could use them for support underneath your hands. You could also reach for the floor or grab opposite elbows. And then take as much of a bend as you need in your knees to allow your belly to hang over your thighs. Allow your belly to make contact with your thighs. And then simply fold. Let your head hang. Let your upper arms, and if your arms are straight, your lower arms as well, to hang and to get a bit of a stretch, some lengthening. And then come back to your breath, feeling how there might be a little different of a rhythm, of a sensation, because we're in a little bit more of an active pose. Even though we're still, it requires some musculature to hold yourself in this position. And take one more breath in. As you exhale, release your arms if they were doing something. And then inhale, press your palms to your shins, lengthen your spine up right about halfway. And then as you exhale, fold and curl yourself back in. Inhale, lengthen, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then take a full inhale, exhale to roll up to standing. And then another inhale, exhale to simply stand in mountain pose. And then as you inhale again, reach your arms out and then reach up to maybe press your palms in front of your face. And then as you exhale, just take a clearing breath. So let your palms widen and press your palms down to stand back in mountain pose. And then do that again, twice more. Reach your arms wide, and then inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, press your palms down, elbows widen. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, press down. Inhale, this time reach up. Then exhale, fold all the way back down from where you came. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. And then as you exhale, tent your fingers and step your left foot back into a lunge. And then you can tap your knee down, and you might pad your knees as I have with a blanket or not. And then press into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up, low lunge. And as you exhale, let your hips sink down even more, but then keep your back toes tucked and press into your feet to resist that sinking feeling. One more inhale, reach up higher. And then exhale, release your hands down and step to downward dog. Pause there as you inhale. And then roll yourself forward to a plank pose as you exhale, and you can always tap your knees down. Take an extra inhale in plank. And then as you exhale, just for a breath, draw your right knee into your chest. So you might lift your left knee back up. And then release your right knee straight down onto the mat. And if you have that padding, you might adjust it. You might pull it forward so that it pads your knee as well. So your right knee, your right shin is down, and your left leg is straight and your toes are tucked. And then keep your right hand planted down, come into the inner edge of your left foot and reach your left arm up toward the ceiling so that you're in a little modified side plank. And then really press down into your right arm as you reach up through your left arm and find some spaciousness in your chest and in your breath. Take an inhale. And exhale. And then turn your left fingers toward the front of the room, your left palm toward the front of the room. And then reach your left arm over your ear any amount and see if that sense of reaching can help you to find more length in both sides of your waist, but it'll be exaggerated with the top side, the left side of your waist. So inhale and exhale. So as you stretch the left side, can you not crunch the right side, but instead try to reach the right side of your chest forward as well. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, you'll take your right toes and you'll turn them back from the direction you're facing. So you'll kickstand your right shin and then press into your right arm and bring your chest all the way upright. Arms are wide. Take an inhale. And then exhale, come into gate pose. So you'll simply stretch the other way. Reach your left arm down, right arm up and perhaps over your ear. And again, you're finding some pretty obvious length through the right side of your body from, I'd say, your knee to your fingertips. But can you also find length through your left side body? So not allowing it to crunch, but instead moving the hip down away from the chest, moving, I'd say, up at a diagonal. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, windmill your arms all the way forward back to the front of the mat to a plank kind of shape. Unkickstand your right knee, tuck your back toes, and then hug your knee into your chest one more time. And then step back to plank pose. Tap your knees down, take an inhale. And then exhale, bend your elbows, trying to hug them straight back and lower all the way to your belly. And then point your toes. Tent your fingers wide onto the floor. And then inhale, drag your chest forward and up into a modified little baby-sized cobra. And then use your fingertips and the grip, try to pull back and use that pulling back action to help you engage your upper back and to reach your chest farther forward. Take a few more moments here. Attempt to release the grip of your glute muscles, your butt cheeks, your low back. One more inhale. And try to keep the elevated chest. As you exhale, just plant your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, press through tabletop. And exhale, downward dog. Pause there as you inhale. And then step your left foot forward as you exhale. Tent your fingers. Take an inhale simply to lunge and look forward. And as you exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold and roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. And then exhale, fold all the way back down over your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. And then exhale, tent your fingers, bend your knees, and step your right foot all the way back. Tap your knee down. Press into your feet to inhale and reach your arms up, low lunge. Exhale, let your hips sink down, but then press into your feet, into your legs to resist that falling, sinking action. Reach up through your arms. And then exhale, release your hands down and step to downward dog. Pause as you inhale. Come into plank pose as you exhale, and you can always tap your knees down. Take an extra inhale in plank. And then exhale, you'll hug your left knee into your chest. You might lift your right knee, and then simply allow your left shin to come straight down underneath your chest, right where it is. Keep your right toes tucked. Now you do have to lift your right knee, and then spin onto the inner edge of your right foot and reach your right arm up toward the ceiling. So a modified Vashisthasana, modified side plank shape. And then reach your arms strongly apart and use the reach of your arms to help you expand your breath in your chest. Try to find some clarity, some stability in this shape. It is very sharp, the edges of it, very linear. And see if you can allow a balance to come into being, because your breath is the sense of fluidity, the sense of flow within that. One more inhale. And then kickstand your left shin behind you. Press down and come all the way upright with your torso and your arms wide. Take an inhale. And then exhale, stretch the other way, reaching your right arm down, left arm up. You might reach your left arm up and over your ear. And then see if you can find that length through both sides of your body, even though that seems a little impossible. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then windmill your arms. So come back up through center, arms wide, and then wind them all the way forward and down to the front of the mat. Tuck your right toes, and then hug your left knee into your chest once more. And then step back to a plank or a modified plank. Take an inhale. And then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Point your toes. Same thing as before. Tent your fingers wide in line with your shoulders. And inhale, drag your chest forward and up, baby cobra. And then press down into your feet this time and see if you can ground your lower body as you elevate your upper body. Take one more breath in, Really try to drag your chest forward, drag your fingers back. And then exhale, try to keep the elevation, plant your palms under your shoulders. Inhale, press through tabletop or maybe plank pose. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Pause as you inhale. Step your right foot forward as you exhale. Tent your fingers. Inhale, lunge and look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold and roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way back down over your legs. And we'll do the same thing, just a little bit more with the breath. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. Exhale, step your left foot all the way back, tap your knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up, low lunge. Exhale, release your arms and step to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank pose or a modified plank. Exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, release your shin straight down. And then exhale, start to open up into a side plank, coming into the inner edge of your left foot, reaching your left arm up. Take an extra inhale here. And then exhale, spin your palm to the front of your mat and perhaps reach your arm over your ear. Press into your shin and your arm. Inhale, come up through center, kickstanding your right leg. And then exhale, stretch the other way, reaching your right arm over your ear. Inhale, windmill your arms all the way down into plank pose. Tuck your back toes, unkickstand your front leg, and then exhale, draw your knee to your chest. Inhale, come back to plank pose. And exhale, lower all the way to your belly. This time, keep your hands where they are. Inhale, come into any size cobra. You actually could also crawl your hands forward if you like, coming a little bit higher. And exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, press through tabletop or plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause as you inhale. Step your left foot forward as you exhale. Inhale, simply lunge and look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold and roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right foot back, tap your knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up, one breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, draw your left knee into your chest. Inhale, place your shin down on the mat. Spin into the inner edge of your right foot, and then exhale, reach your right arm up toward the ceiling. Take an extra inhale there, get some breath into your chest. And then spin your right palm to the front of the room. Exhale, reach your arm over your ear. Kickstand your left shin. Inhale, come all the way up with your chest through center. And then exhale, left arm over your ear, gate pose, reach the other way. Inhale, windmill your arms all the way to the front of the mat. And then exhale, tuck your back toes, hug your left shin back into your chest. Inhale, plank pose, lengthen yourself out. Exhale, lower all the way to your belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale through tabletop or plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause as you inhale. And step your right foot forward as you exhale. Take another inhale to lunge. And then exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold and roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. And we'll do one more little variation of that. Exhale, fold all the way down over your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your left foot back. Keep your knee lifted this time. Inhale, reach your arms up, high lunge. You might keep a slight bend in your back knee. And then exhale, release your arms down and see if you can simply step to plank pose. Take an extra inhale in plank. You can always tap your knees down. Exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, lower your shin down. And use your exhale to come into that side plank that we've been doing this whole time. Take another inhale there. Get more space in your breath in your chest. Exhale, reach your arm over your ear. Kickstand your right shin. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, Parigasana, gate pose, right arm over your ear. Inhale, windmill your arms all the way to plank pose. Tuck your back toes. Exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, you might lower down just halfway to chaturanga. You could also lower to the floor or any other modification. I'm keeping my knees down and then point your toes. Inhale, come into any variation of a back bend. It might be this modified kind of lazy upward dog, or you could stick with cobra. And then exhale, draw your belly up and back, draw your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pause as you inhale. Step your left foot forward as you exhale. Inhale, lunge, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold, roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. Last side. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right foot back. Try to keep your right knee elevated. Inhale, high lunge. Reach your arms forward and up just for a breath. Exhale, plank pose. Release your arms down. Step your left foot back. Take an extra inhale there. Exhale, draw your left shin toward your chest. Inhale, place your shin down and use your exhale to come into side plank, reaching the right arm up. Take an inhale when you get there. Exhale, reach your right arm over your ear. Kickstand your left shin. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, reach your left arm over your ear. Inhale, windmill your arms back to the front of the mat. Tuck your back toes. Exhale, draw your left shin toward your chest. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower down any amount. Inhale, back bend, perhaps an upward dog. And exhale, forward bend, downward facing dog. Pause as you inhale. Step your right foot forward as you exhale. Inhale, look forward, lunge. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold and roll up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. Mountain pose as you exhale. Release your arms down. Close your eyes. See if you can resist the urge to fidget and move. And after all of that movement, can you feel your breath a little changed or perhaps a lot? And can you recalibrate by simply continuing to notice your breath? Notice the parts of you that are changed as well as the parts of you that are unchanged. And take a deep breath in and a breath out. And then blink your eyes open, looking straight ahead, and notice what you first see. Notice what's right in front of you. And then again, reach your arms out and up. Feel your chest get expansive, your waist lengthen. And exhale, fold all the way down over your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. And then exhale, make your way to downward dog, however you want to get there. So you might move through a whole vinyasa, sun salutation, or you might just step or jump back. And then take a few breaths in downward dog, or you could also tap your knees down and take several breaths in perhaps a child's pose. You might grab a sip of water. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then simply step your right foot to the front of the mat, just so you can turn down the side of your mat, the long edge of your mat, coming into a straddle. And you can move, if you have a blanket or props in your way, you can move them out of your way for this. And you're probably like, why is this teacher wearing socks the whole time? I run cold, but I'm going to take my socks off now because it's really useful to grip and feel the floor for this. And then simply come up to standing. You can inhale and reach your arms up. Taking a clearing breath, exhale, release your arms down. And then I'm going to mirror you. So turn your right toes slightly in at a little bit of a diagonal, and turn your left toes all the way out to face that narrow, or excuse me, face the long edge of your mat. Yes. Reach your arms out into a T. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to lean your chest, lengthening both sides of your waist toward your left leg, coming into triangle pose, Trikonasana. And then eventually, when you feel that there's still some length left in the left side of your body, right before you're going to crunch into it, don't crunch into it. That's when you should stop and release your left arm down, perhaps onto your shin. You could even test your balance, your strength by pressing the back of your hand to the inside of your leg. You could also grab for a block if you have. And then reach your right arm straight up toward the ceiling. So there are several angles and sides to this pose. And I'm just going to focus on two of them right now. As you press into your feet and feel your legs and the lower half of your body root down, and kind of feel the sense of almost a diagonal that they're at, can you at the same time spin your chest away from that angle, spin your chest open toward the side, and lengthen both sides of your waist, kind of like we were doing in side plank a moment ago? Can you find that sense of length in your right side chest, which is more obvious, but also the left side of your chest? almost like if someone took, this is the example I use. If someone took butter that wasn't melted enough and put it on a slice of bread and it looked chunky, if they then took a butter knife and smoothed out the butter, can you smooth out that side of your chest? I've been eating a lot of bread and butter lately. Okay, perhaps you spin your right palm toward the front of your mat and reach your arm over your ear. If that creates any tension or discomfort in a bad way in your neck, then don't do it. And take another inhale. And then use the pressure of your feet as you exhale to come all the way back up through center. And then turn your feet the other way. So turn your left toes slightly in at a diagonal and your right toes all the way out to align your right leg to that side of the mat. Okay, take an inhale there. And then exhale, start to lean your chest in that same direction. And pause when you get low enough that you can still feel the length in your right side body, but you don't quite get to the place of the sense of crunching in your hip. You don't want to ever feel any sort of crunching. You always want to try to find length and spaciousness. So pause when you find that point for you, that impasse, I suppose, and then release your right arm down in any way. You could also tent your fingers on the floor and then reach your left arm up toward the sky. And then again, finding that sense of twist, that sense of tension from lower body to upper body. So allow the lower body to ground. And at the same time, can you find a sense of lightness and spaciousness in your torso, your chest, your upper body? Even your arms, while they're working hard right now, there is a sense of lightness to them. There is an energy that can flow through them, I feel, more easily because we're not weight bearing. And because this position calls for, it calls for space. We're reaching. This is the ultimate expression of space, of taking up space. Take another inhale. And then press into your feet as you exhale to help you come back up through center. And then turn your feet again to the other way. So right toes slightly in, left toes all the way out. Take an inhale here, and you might actually think about this beforehand. Widen your stance a little bit because we're going to come into a side angle. Take an inhale. Exhale, this time bend your left knee, perhaps to 90 degrees, trying to reach the knee, really reach the knee forward and keep pressing the inner knee toward the outer knee. So it doesn't actually matter what it looks like or 90 degrees. It's the reach, the sense of reach and the feeling. And then once you get into that warrior two stance, release either your left your left forearm to your left thigh, or you could grab that block once more, place your hand on a block, or even place your hand on the floor. And then same idea as triangle pose, even though the front leg is bent, it's similar because your hips are twisting one way and you're attempting to open up your chest the other way. So again, can you find the sense of length through both sides of your waist? Take an inhale. And then exhale, perhaps reach your arm over your ear. Maybe not, but maybe. Again, find that length. Inhale. And exhale. Press into your feet. Come all the way up through center. Straighten your front leg. Turn your toes the other way. Left toes slightly in. Right toes all the way out. Inhale. Exhale, start to bend your right knee, really reach the knee forward, press the inner knee toward the outer knee so that you maintain the alignment of ankle, knee, hip. And once you find that warrior two shape, start to reach through the right arm and come into a extended side angle. And then find the spin of your chest, the exaltation and the expansion of your breath. Allow the physical form to be static, but the energetic form, the breath, the prana, to be fluid and continuous. Maybe you reach your arm over your ear and then press into your feet. Come all the way back up through standing. Turn both toes forward so that you're in a straddle. Release your arms down. Reach your arms out and up. Inhale. And then exhale, fold all the way down over your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, you're going to crawl your hands toward your left foot, and you might bring your legs a little bit more narrow for this. And then you might take your right arm and grab to the outer edge of your left leg, wherever you can reach. And that might be it. You might simply fold, and this would be enough. As you bend your elbow, you'll feel more length in your right side body. You could also start to bend into your right knee, and that might help you feel even more length, even more of a stretch in your torso. And then see if you can soften your head, let it hang. And then gently come through center and go the other way. So reach toward your right leg. You might grab the outer edge of your leg with your left arm, and you can draw yourself in any amount. You could also bend into your left knee. And take a few breaths here. And then gently release and come back into a straddle fold in the center. Inhale, bring your fingertips under your shoulders, lift up halfway. And then take your hands to your hips, try to hug your elbows up toward the ceiling, and exhale, come all the way up to standing. All right. And then simply move any props that are in your way out of your way and come down onto your shins. Come down onto the mat, and we'll start to take it down. Take it down a notch. Okay, so I'm going to offer Gomukhasana, which is cow face pose for a hip opener. And if this is not accessible, or you prefer to take a pigeon or a figure four or any other outer hip opener that you know, by all means, go ahead. If you like Gomukhasana, then this is how I like to set it up. So you can just do it flat on the mat, but I find that a lot of the times it's so lopsided for me that one of my hips, one of my butt cheeks is totally off the floor. So I like to use a blanket so that things are even. And to set it up, I will sit down on the blanket, and then I'll start with, say, my right leg. I'll bring my right leg underneath me, pointing the knee forward and hugging the right foot in toward my seat. And then there's some modifications for this. So you could take the left knee on top. And the idea is to try to hug the legs together and stack the knees. And if that's just not accessible, but you want to try, moving toward it, you could straighten the bottom leg. So the right leg would be straight and you would just fold the left leg up and on top. So either way, the idea is to try to hug the knees one on top of the other. And then from there, don't mind me while I get warm and comfy again. From there, you would reach for the feet with your hands. I like to take the palms of my feet the palms of my hands to the soles of my feet. And sometimes it feels a little awkward because your feet are in totally different places. So you might try to get your feet in the same line as each other. And then you could simply close your eyes and stay upright. At least for a few breaths, it's nice to do that because adjusting to this sensation is it's quite interesting. The sense of stretch that I feel with this specific hip opener is very different from all the other ones. So just noticing the sensation for a few moments. Softening your inner gaze if your eyes are closed. Allowing the muscles of your face to release. And then you might stay just as you are, upright. You could also fold forward, and at that point, you might take your the space between your chin and your bottom lip, that little divot, you might take that to the inside of your top knee. Come back to your breath. And take one more deep, full breath in. And a soft breath out. Gently blink your eyes open, and if you're doing something else, you can guide yourself in your own time. If you're with me in Gomukhasana, you could simply, lean back and switch your legs. You could also do this fun, fancy transition that I like, where you crawl your hands forward enough that you can lift your hips, and then you crawl them over to the top leg, so the left leg, and you lift your hips up, and you keep your feet where they are this whole time. Keep your feet where they are. You're planted onto the balls of your feet now. Your heels are lifted, and you keep crawling your hands around and letting your feet follow, and keep twisting and twisting and twisting until suddenly you've switched legs. You're facing forward, and then you just have to bend your knees, plant your knee, your hip, and suddenly there you are. So that might have been an absolute no, but it's a fun transition. You can try another time. Either way, you're finding your way to the other side, stacking the right knee on top of the left knee, and then reaching for your feet with your hands, making that almost closed loop, circular connection from the end of your body to the end of your body. And settling your eyes closed, softening your eyebrows. And perhaps noticing the shift in your energy, shift in your breath since we started. Noticing if there's a little bit more space between your thoughts, a little bit more space between your breath, perhaps a little bit more patience, which is always a beautiful and important thing to cultivate. But especially right now, it's so reflected in nature. The lake outside where I live is slowly melting and warming, but it takes time. The trees are slowly budding and growing new leaves, but it takes time, etc., etc. And we see that reflected in our lives. We're starting to get more energy back and go outside again and be more active, but it takes time. So can we allow this sense of presence and patience to permeate our experience of all of this? Can we sit with what is and surrender to what may or may not be? Okay, if you haven't folded forward in your Gomukhasana and you want to, you might do that. Take another deep, full breath in and a breath out. And then gently unwind yourself from whatever shape you are in. Oof. And make your way onto your back. And we'll do one last pose before we rest. So we'll take a back bend, a bridge pose, or if you have a wheel practice, you're welcome to do that. I would say we are warm for it. You could also use your blocks and do a supported bridge pose or a supported fish pose. So I'm going to actually demonstrate a bridge pose. You'll walk your feet toward your hips, knees pointing up toward the ceiling, and then you'll simply press down into your feet and lift your hips up. At that point, you could keep your arms as they are. You could reach your arms up over your ears and find length that way. You could also grab the edges of the mat and pull down, or even interlace your hands underneath you. And just wherever you land, take a few breaths. Take a few moments to extend your spine. Feel length in your side body. And then whenever you feel complete, you'll gently roll yourself back down to the mat and take a final pose as a final gesture to close your practice. And just accepting whatever you received. Noting your relationship with whatever made its way into your practice today, whatever was drawing your attention. Noticing if the relationship with it has shifted at all. And then allowing yourself to get comfy in a restful posture, a shavasana. And when you get there, take one final deep breath in, fill up your belly, chest, lungs, expand. Pause at the very top of your inhale. And then exhale, just let it fall out of your mouth. take a deeper, fuller inhale and a soft, slow exhale. You might stay just as you are, continue resting. Otherwise, you might start to move your physical body gently, deepen your breath, and draw yourself up to a seat. And then close your eyes. Bring your palms to touch at the center of your chest. Inhale through your nose, and like a whisper, exhale through your mouth. Bring your thumbs up to the center of your forehead. Inhale. Exhale. And then slightly bow your chin as a gesture of gratitude for the shared space, the shared experience, and the shared energy. And then release your arms down. And in your own time, gently blink your eyes open. All right. Thank you so much for joining.